So you thought you were frail, in all
I
seriousness.
swear to God.
But you're like a fighter. You're like...
I'm a bitch.
I wasn't going to say it.
Oh, my God. You agree?
Well...
Holy shit, dude. You lead me into some elaborate traps.
That's how I party, biatch.
You just called me a bitch again.
No, I think I said biatch.
Yeah, but you know what that means.
That means like bitch pie.
That's right.
You're riding down the Harland Highway.
All right, hold tight on the Harland Highway Show.
Harland Williams.
It's not fancy. It's like he says hypnotist, but he'll just have you close your eyes on my podcast. He goes, so what is the overriding, like, what is your overriding emotion? Like, is it guilt? Is it
As a
anger,
hypnotist,
fear?
he has to say that.
Is it shame?
Yeah.
Well, he just said, I think it's shame. I was always ashamed of my frailty because my dad was really big.
How big was he? Like fat?
No, he was Samoan big, just big. He's
So
huge,
fat,
giant
blubbery,
head.
or
No, just big, like a horse.
sounds like a walrus, maybe.
No, man, like a horse. I said
Well, you
horse,
said
okay?
big, and
I said
I-
like a horse with human feet.
Well, my concept of big is flubber, and yours might be, Clydesdale, but I'm picturing your dad charging through kelp with his buck teeth out, trying to eat scallops.
I don't understand why you would ever make that connection. My father is not a walrus.
Well, you said he's big, guy.
I did say
When
he's
do I
big,
get
but-
to formulate my own thoughts?
Well, you can't think of him as charging through kelp. I'm sure he probably did when he was a Marine in the Marine Division.
Oh, he was a Marine?
And
Yes.
he was in the CIA, apparently.
Who knows what he did? Either way,
Wait.
you're from Canada, so you don't even have an army. Oh, shit.
That's why he's so nice. That makes sense now.
We have canoes.
You do have canoes.
Then they got Rangers too, right?
Rangers.
and
Forest
Rangers,
Rangers.
and you have Mounties.
Picture like a terrorist attack, like 30, like 6,
Yeah.
like guys in canoes coming around the bend. ISIS,
Bows and arrows.
Allah, whatever they are.
Yeah, that's well, they don't do that, but yeah, I know. what you mean.
What is it? The Al Qaedas?
No, it's the Al Qaeda.
Well, in Canada,
The
there's
good
a
thing about
French
you is
inflection. Al Qaedas.
Al Qaeda.
Al Qaedas.
Oui.
Oui.
Ah, oui.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So your dad was so you were an army brat.
I was.
So the last 3 times I talked to him, he brought up this thing over and over and over, and then we went into it. And it was a fascinating thing that you've
Well, he goes like this.
about.
He goes. So what kind of trauma? I go. I didn't have trauma. I had a good family, and I moved around a lot.
Yeah.
And then we're doing this thing, and I go, well, I remember when I was in the war, and we were stuck in the war in Lebanon for 6 months, and I used to always hide when we'd go by the Jeep with the anti-aircraft guns because I thought they were going to arrest me. And he goes, hey, dude, you were in a war. Okay, listen, when I'm opening up, you can't open up like that. You understand?
What do you mean? I'm listening to your story.
I was opening my heart metaphorically, and then you open your shirt literally.
Well, it's hot in here, guy.
see,
It's a
that's called-
professional studio.
No, it's called upstaging my story, which is super rude on your own podcast.
Sounds like you're trying to control me, like
No.
a CIA army brat.
I'm not. You cannot put me in a box that way.
I will if I get invited to your funeral. I'll
Have
put
you
you
had
in a box.
experience being in boxes and going through torture, or what was the training?
Whoa, yeah.
to be
Well,
Tell us about this fake army stuff.
A
some
lot
more.
of that stuff is classified. I'll tell you what, though. You guys can do me a favor. You can keep waking up free every morning, and I'll keep doing what I do. How's that sound?
I like the sound of free.
Wait, do you guys wake up free? Are you free right now?
I sure
You're
am.
welcome.
Even freer.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Right? That is truly one of the best bodies I've seen in comedy, and it's unbelievable. I had no idea you had a barrel chest.
Just trying to be free, guy.
Yeah, you're one of those guys with a resting strength.
Your dad's a flubber.
Well, if you ever fight a smaller man, you should grab him by the shirt and pull him against your chest over and over again until he passes out.
Why would I do that? Like power slam him?
Yep,
Like
power
wham,
slam him
wham,
against
wham.
your chest.
Into my chest.
Yeah,
No one's going to survive that. You ever see a pug?
yeah.
Like if I get your dad or you and I just power slam you into my chest, your eyes are going to go crooked.
My dad beat
your
the shit out of you, bro.
His dad's big. I haven't seen him in person, but
We could hollow my dad's head out and live in it. That's how big his head is.
2 of my fingers are one of his fingers.
That's
from
right.
what I've seen.
He's a big boy.
I'd like to see him get me. I'm standing on the shore. How's the walrus going to get up on the land?
Hey, man, he's not a walrus.
You said he was flubbery.
I never said that. You used that word.
You said he was a big guy.
I see him with giant teeth charging through kelp.
Scallops. He eats scallops.
He does like scallops. I'll admit that. All right. This podcast never goes anywhere.
Guy, I want to talk to you because, first of all, Bry, you have what, 3-4 podcasts? How many?
I got too many. I got to narrow them down.
But here's the thing, Dom. One of the things I've learned by watching him and others pros in the field, it's all about listening. It's, it's one thing to talk, but listening is what really gets a pod going. And so to test your listening skills, and I wouldn't do this with anyone else.
Yeah.
Let's do a listening exercise. And he's the only guy that's going to be able to do this. You won't be able to. Yeah. People listening one.
Yeah.
You pull up to Wendy's. I'm the drive-through guy, and watch, Dom. This guy, his power of hearing. Go ahead.
So
You're pulling up to Wendy's drive-through.
And you're the but you said you're the drive-through guy.
I'm the drive-through guy.
You're working at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I would never do in real life, obviously.
Hey, I'd like a double cheeseburger, please. I'd like a double cheeseburger. Did you get that? Okay, I gotta shift gears.
Curly or regular? Okay. You want cookies? See, no one else could have picked up on that.
Yeah. Beyond me.
Your powers of hearing.
I speak the language. So.
What?
Yeah. Oh no.
So I want to get into, because one of the things I love about him, Dom, is you are one of those guys that seems to have a general knowledge about so many things. And I wouldn't dare ask these questions, Dom, to anyone else. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the moon landing. Because I'll tell you, friend, my whole life, I watched the moon landing when I was 8 years old on black and white TV. My whole life, I've never questioned it. And now lately, with all this stuff on, and I'm not a conspiracy guy, but on TikTok and Instagram, for the first time in my life, there's been a little glitch where I went, And do you remember in that movie, The Truman Show, where he lived in that fake, and one day a light fell out of the sky on his on his road, and he went, for the first time in my life, I want to believe the moon landing happened, but for the first time in my life, there's a little glitch, and I thought, a guy like you think about this stuff. What do you think?
Well, you'd have to then say that I guess NASA has a division full of scientists that were willing to spend all that time and congressional money on a fake operation so that we could show the Soviets we were more technologically advanced than we actually were.
Right.
Okay. So that means that the 1,000 people, roughly,
probably more
that were
even
involved in one way or another in getting that craft onto the moon, along with the astronauts, somehow all of them have been able to keep a secret this whole time.
Right.
And the ones that weren't willing to, I suppose, the government killed. Great.
But that's where I'm the same way. How could they all keep a secret?
Yeah, how do you keep a secret? Because the one thing we know is Washington can't keep any secrets.
Yeah.
If you have any doubts, listen to the Lyndon Johnson tapes where he said, I'm going to put a one-eyed farmer in charge of my military. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to fire my Secretary of Defense and I will replace him with a one-eyed farmer because I can't keep a goddamn secret. Nobody can keep a secret in my administration.
Right.
And you hear him on the phone with the editor-in-chief of the Chicago Sun, etc., begging them not to run a story until the operation is completed because it'll blow the whole thing.
Wait, the lunar landing?
I'm talking about any administration trying to keep a secret in Hollywood, in Washington.
Yeah.
People don't like. Yes.
Yeah, please.
So, do you think that the new hire, the new employees, or the cashiers at McDonald's know what's going on?
Terrible example, though. Dumb.
No, I mean when they're game planning and they're saying they don't know what's happening.
But with something like the moon landing, which required, well, let's just go through faking it. Let's just talk about faking it. It would require, a set cameras. Then you'd have to have all those scientists in NASA who are tasked with real things. You see them clapping. You see them in the command center. You know, I would then ask. Then I would ask this. So, do you know what NASA does? Do you know one of the things that we rely on NASA for? The National Weather Service. Do you know what the National Weather Service does?
Yeah.
What?
They like do the Doppler weather and
they are the ones who give our farmers all that information with their weather balloons for free. So
Right.
farmers have to know how much precipitation is in the soil. They have to know when it's going to rain, when it's going to hail. They rely on all these things. All of that is done by quiet bureaucrats who are scientists with their weather balloons. How in the world does our shipping industry, which might be a kind of big, everybody, might be a little big if you get anything from China, whatever, wherever it might come from.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, oil, all the things that are shipped.
Yeah.
You got to know currents. The Coast Guard, you got to know where our entire maritime system relies on the weather balloons, tide balloons, and all those things. So there is an infrastructure that is so vast that all of us depend on a minute-by-minute basis for everything that is in my hand right now. None of this, all shipped here. The cobalt, the magnesium, everything that's whatever the fuck it is that's in this phone, everything, the dye that goes into this, it's all reliant on the grid that seems to operate without a hitch.
How does that tie into the moon landing?
Right, you're straying a bit,
The
guy.
scientists,
You're wandering.
the same organization that was responsible for putting that thing on the moon, and you know that came up with things like Velcro, etc., was the people that give us all the other stuff that we depend on.
Velcro came from a guy in Scotland walking his dog. Did you know
Scotland.
that? There was a Scottish guy walking his dog, and the dog got burrs,
Yes.
Scottish burrs, thistles
What's
in his
birds?
fur.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he put them under a microscope and see that they interlocked like this, and that's where
That's so
Velcro
cool.
came from.
So it
Really?
didn't come from
That's
NASA.
exactly
That's
right.
really cool.
Yeah.
Well, wait, let me give you the biggest. Let me give you my biggest thing, guys.
Well, I think you
Let me
cut
give
your
my-
friend
wait,
off.
But before you do it,
I really
so
don't know
why
if you
is
wanna
it that
cut your friend
everybody
off.
who says the
Well,
moon
maybe
landing
you get a
was
nipple.
fake isn't a scientist? Why is it that everybody who says the moon landing is fake isn't someone who's in geophysics at NASA? We have a lot of scientists in universities, in government organizations, okay? A lot of scientists that make satellites work so that we can use our phones. Why isn't that any of them have come out?
Okay, you're getting in too deep. What I'm expressing to you is I'm with you. Everything you said, I've been part of the program. I've been in lockstep with NASA and everything they told us.
But now the internet came along.
But
and
now
you've
the
seen a lot of
internet
stuff.
came along, and now this thing called TikTok and Instagram came along, and I don't subscribe to theories like this, but for the first time, if I'm at 100%, believing everything happened on the moon, for the first time in my life, there's a little glitch, a little matrix.
All of us are that way because
And
of
I
things
went,
like
whoa.
COVID, because
I
how
don't know.
we have been lied
What
to.
was the light falling from the sky, like the Truman Show moment for you? Was there multiple? Was it one? Was it like the Challenger thing? Where
No, it's a collection of things I've been seeing, and I hate to be this guy that absorbs all the TikTok stuff, but when you see enough of it, when you look at pictures of the ship and how it was sort of, it almost looks like it's put together with cardboard. You see the ship taking off from the moon. Well, who was filming that?
Filming?
And these are all
was filming that,
all these
wasn't
like
he?
conspiracy theories, and so for the first time I kind of went, and then you see President Nixon talking live to them on the moon, and you're like, how is that?
I can't even get service in the hills. What's going on?
Yeah.
with
So
that?
for the first time I've and I don't want to challenge it because that was a very emotional, beautiful moment for me as a little boy to watch that moment. I was about 7 years old, and we have a cottage up in the north of Ontario, and we never had any electronics. We had no TV, no phone, nothing. We would go up there all summer, and it was just us fishing the lake, me and my 4 sisters. And the only time my dad ever brought a TV up there, he brought a little black and white TV, and we watched them land on the moon. So I have a very strong attachment to it, but that's what I'm saying. For the first time in my life, there's a little like, and I don't like it, to be honest, because I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But that's why I thought I'd ask you, because you look deep into this kind of stuff. So I
don't
thought
look that deep into conspiracies, but I do a show where people do.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to them, though, whenever you ask questions, so whenever you look at things, you'll have them go, I'm just asking questions. If you start, I would say this to you about that. There are scientists in NASA that can tell you, that can answer all those questions.
Well, let's take satellites. You brought up satellites, okay?
Yeah.
So when I was a little boy, I was in 62. So this was the beginning of the space race. So how many satellites do you think were out orbiting the Earth in 62?
I don't know.
Maybe 3, 4?
Handful. Yeah.
So we had this place up in Northern Ontario. Every night we'd go lay on our backs and look up at the plethora of the galaxies, the Milky Way. Mm-hmm. And every night, about every probably 6 minutes, we'd see what my dad called a satellite. It looked like a star whizzing across. And I just took it at that. I went, oh, they're satellites. But then you go online now, and most satellites are no more than 20 to 70 feet wide. So why is it on a starry, dark night, I can barely see a jumbo jet going across at flight elevation, but I can see a satellite the size of a school bus whipping.
ISS, like supposedly you could see how the hell are we seeing that?
Well,
right?
First of all, that's the reflection of the sun or a reflection of stars.
That's what they say.
That's why. But also, if we're going to start talking about how the properties of light behave under certain conditions, I don't think that's anything any of us are qualified for.
Well, what about this?
And I would say this also. Remember that you are also living in a time when there are so many lights around you at night. One of the reasons birds have real problems with migration and sleep is because of that. So you don't see the stars anymore. When I was in Wadi Rum,
you do when you're in a place with no ambient city lights. Trust me.
Yes, because in Jordan, when you go to Wadi Rum, which is this incredible place where they shot The Martian, you'll see stars that'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
Now, was I there at night? I was not, but I heard about it. The point is that when you're outside of a city, you see stars and you go, "Oh fuck! I forgot what the night sky looks like."
So why was it when I was a kid in the '60s, I saw the same amount of satellites whizzing by that I'll see on any given night now?
That's a great
Back
point.
then,
there should be thousands,
right?
Supposedly.
And how do I see something the size of a Volkswagen?
It doesn't.
That far out.
It doesn't matter. That question doesn't matter because there are satellites out there.
There are satellites, but something.
I got to share with you an interesting
story. Here we go, Bry.
This Lyft driver came and picked me up from the Strip, and we were driving home, and I just started chit-chat with him. And I said, "Oh, so what do you do outside of this?" And he goes, "I'm a meteorologist."
Oh,
and I go,
vegetarians hate meteorologists, by the way.
I go, "Don't you find it funny that you've never seen a meteor in your life?" And I'm looking at him in the rearview mirror, and he's just like what you're saying. The program, he's like, "That is funny. You're right." I'm like, "You see shooting stars off in the distance, but if there were meteors, would be hitting homes, they'd be hitting even the field, and we'd all be going out there.
They do sometimes. They do sometimes.
Where
so in Russia, it did in about."
That looked like a missile. I know which one you're talking about.
Well, but we have a lot of examples of meteors.
But they're all really old. Well, sometimes they find little ones.
Yeah, when it comes to the Earth's atmosphere, it burns up. That's why spaceships, when they enter, do the same thing. So, but sometimes it doesn't burn all the way. And if you talk to paleontologists and geologists, they'll talk about meteors, and when meteors hit.
Just for our, sorry if I hate to interrupt, for our audience, because I know what it is, but if you could just tell them what a paleontologist is. I know what it is, but them watching probably don't.
A paleontologist, I believe, is somebody who studies the dinosaurs.
Okay.
You know, I think.
Right? I know. About that. Just tell them, not me. I know.
Paleontologist and I think studies different eras like geologists study different eras, so they'll look at like the different kinds of layers of rock and what that
strata
says. Yeah,
they'll look at the
what that says about what happened to the Earth at that time.
And that's for them, not for me.
What is that thing where they looked at how most of the dinosaurs are found below the surface of the rock that kind of solidified, and when I guess a meteor they think hit, and a lot of the surface of the Earth became lava.
Oh, the meteor that hit in the Gulf of Mexico.
Something
What's that
like
called?
that.
Yeah, and that's the one that they claim led to.
Let's look up
to
paleontologist.
Well, I think you just told us what it was.
But now
because you knew, and I knew, but they don't. People watching don't.
So what were some of the other glitch moments that you had? Were there particular?
I almost hate to talk about them.
It says the history of life on Earth through the fossil record. So there it is.
Yeah.
So that would be dinosaurs. Somebody studies, all that fossils.
Yeah.
Are the evidence of past life on the? Yeah. So okay.
I don't know.
So more just fossils. Let's not just say dinosaurs, but
gloating,
that era.
kind of gloating a little now. But.
Sorry, buddy.
But it was just, and I hate to be the reflection in the guy's thing, and then he's bouncing and he falls down, and then it looks like a cable pulled him up. Right. There's all these things, but the problem is you don't know what's real anymore. You don't know if someone fabricated it or they altered the video, but I guess where it's weird for me, I've always just played by the rule book that they went to the moon, and I just find it odd that for the first time in my life I'm having a little bit of doubt, which I don't know if I like or it's a good thing.
Let me give you a very recent example. I listened to RFK Jr. on Rogan.
Oh, wow.
And he talks about...
Hey, everybody. Check out my merchandise at harbling.com. Yeah, most people just slap some letters or images on a T-shirt or a hoodie. But not me. Yours truly. Guess what? I draw my own designs. At harbling.com, you can see tons of my hand-drawn T-shirts. You can either buy the original or you can buy a print. And man, oh man, wear them loud and proud. I love making these designs for you guys and keeping it personal. So check out the whole catalog. We got hoodies, we got coffee mugs, we got T-shirts. You name it, it's there at harbling.com. Get your Harland original design, wearable art at harbling.com today. And thank you for your support, and I'll just keep the groovy images coming.
I'm not saying that his intentions are not pure. That's rude, right? You're not supposed to sit like that. And you're a passionate man.
He's trying to tell you to hurry up.
You get me worked up, guy.
All right, see what happens?
You're sitting there talking about KFC and I get thirsty.
You know what I do?
Oh,
I
God.
wear a condom.
Here we go. Are you serial?
Come on. When's the last time you wore a condom?
What
Be
if
honest.
I just died?
1988?
There are two things I'm allergic to. Rattlesnakes and condoms.
What size? Are you a Magnum guy?
I am a Magnum guy.
I'm a Magnum PI guy. And when I say that, I trimmed a mustache, like a Tom Selleck mustache right above my little friend.
Yep. And when you have sex, you go, did you just order broom service?
Magnum.
Broom service. Sorry. Hello? Yeah? $1 million? Call me when you're serious.
Jesus, did you just make a Hollywood deal, bro?
It's just how I start a deal.
That's what happens, man.
Yeah, it's how I start a deal. Yeah.
So let's talk about Dom, because I want to hear about the trends.
It works.
Yeah, the hypnotist stuff.
It's so annoying because it works, and he did it, and I went. He was like, "Why do you feel ashamed?" And we went through this thing, and I was like, "Wait, my mom." Like, I didn't want to lose my connection to my mother. I had this crazy breakthrough.
When?
I know it sounds weird. Just now.
Oh, with Dom?
Yes.
Yeah.
My buddy's been telling me over and over, you got to do it with
year.
him. But it's not cheap. And I was like, and he's like, you got to do it.
So what
But
was the
now I'm
issue with your
convinced.
mother? What was going on with you and your mother that he had to heal?
When you do this like weird subconscious stuff, you'll get these images and you'll get these answers, which are really interesting. And he's like, so what do you think the answer is? And it's like, wait a minute. Oh, fuck. You know? And it was clear as day.
What's the question, though?
You have to listen to the podcast. I don't want to rehash. It's boring.
I can explain
Yeah, go
it
ahead,
without making it boring. So essentially,
thank you.
The last 3 conversations we had, he was mentioning the shame for being, you said frail, right?
Yeah,
I guess
frail. My dad was big. So
Like
I
a
thought,
walrus?
Yeah, like he's a wall. My dad was
like a CIA walrus.
Like a fat, blubbery, kelp-eating whore?
He does eat kelp, but he's not a walrus, dude.
Just taking what you're giving me, guy.
Okay. All right, keep going.
Well, so he mentioned the
Touchy.
shame for being frail. And for me, that's like the alarm bells are going off like, oh, fuck, we got to do something about this. So we asked his subconscious mind, which is a very easy conversation to have. You close your eyes, you ask questions, the answers come to you and go with it. And we asked if it was okay for him to move past the shame for being frail. And his mind said, no, I actually want to hold on to the shame for being frail because that's how I stay connected to my mom.
How weird is that, dude?
Isn't that wild?
Well, I can't believe I said that out loud.
Yeah.
But here's what
That doesn't make any sense to me, but it's true.
I've never perceived you as frail, though.
Yeah, I
don't
know,
said.
but I do.
And
You
because
do?
of the
Yeah.
war, the war.
Well, because
and-
my childhood was chaos, and it was, I was so out of control.
Well, it's got to be hard being a baby walrus.
Well,
Were you
Baby
fat?
walrus with a giant penis.
like
right?
that assumes that I shave my tusks down, and that is as racist as you can get.
Well,
especially since I do shave my tusks down. My
well,
teeth grow so fast, it's so
welcome to
annoying.
the 90s. So you thought you were frail, in all
I
seriousness.
swear to God.
But you're like a fighter. You're like,
I'm a bitch.
I wasn't
Not
going to say it.
Oh my God, you agree?
Well,
Holy shit, dude. You lead me into some elaborate traps.
that's how I party, biatch.
You just called me a bitch again.
No, I think I said biatch.
Yeah, but you know what that means.
That means like bitch
Yeah.
pie.
That's right, in French. I had no idea you're that fluent. Now, Dom, you should do you're not open to it, though.
Well, what's the process?
See, now you're nervous.
No, I'm not nervous.
You just got nervous.
No, I'm not. I'm not nervous. But what is the procedure? What are you trying to find out?
Yeah, so essentially what we do is we pick something that's a reoccurring pattern, right?
Okay.
Something, and typically it'll come out in our language as we're talking to people, right? Like again, he had a couple of those conversations, and
He said reoccurring patterns.
yeah. Drink the. I wonder what that is.
What are you holding, a baby walrus? What are you doing?
I'm not,
He's
man.
holding his
Oh,
cock.
I've never
Oh,
been held.
oh.
I've never been.
That's how he holds his nuts.
You're not allowed to call me a walrus anymore,
Well,
dude.
your dad was a chubster.
You don't know that he was,
You
dude.
said he was huge.
He's got some weight on him, yeah.
Yeah, and
but
he's
not
got-
always.
Well, when you see a full-grown man with scallop grease dripping from his fangs, he's a walrus.
he doesn't eat that
Flubbery.
many. And walruses don't have fangs. Your
I'm just
zoology is so off, dude.
Well,
As a paleontologist, I can tell you that walruses, and I've studied the fossil record, they never had fangs.
well, maybe you should call Sarah paleontologist.
Hello? $2 million? We're getting closer. Call me when you're fucking serious.
Nice.
By the way, this cell phone has 0 cobalt in
Oh,
it.
God.
So there's no slave labor.
Oh God. Okay, so keep going.
Yeah, so we just essentially find out whatever that pattern is, and then we go into your subconscious mind and figure out
How
where
quickly
they're
do you do this?
It's fast. It's
So is there
5
anything
minutes.
that's coming off of me that you're feeling? That's,
No, we haven't had enough of a conversation to know. But what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Space was fake.
Space is fake? Uh-huh.
Moon was fake.
He's not going to see. He's afraid to open
No,
up.
what do I need? Tell me what I need to open up about.
So-
Something emotional, something.
It doesn't even have to be heavy trauma, emotional.
Oh,
when
I
you
know.
Think about
Ask him why he's never been married.
There you go. That could be one.
Well, here's
getting
the
too
problem.
real. Getting too
Wait,
real.
isn't this a comedy podcast?
Here's the problem. I was married.
you were?
Yeah, so that doesn't work. Nice try there, Gomez.
What's common for people is they believe I don't deserve love, I don't deserve happiness, I don't deserve success, I'm not good enough. All these kinds of things. I'm not saying that you do. I'm just saying that these are the most common.
I've always felt I've always like swing for the fences. My whole life
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like I deserve it all. I'm going
hell
for
yeah.
it all.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, good. No,
I
absolutely.
started real early. I went, you only come through once.
Yeah.
I'm going for all of it. So I don't know if I have
believe-
those.
No, you might not even. Not everybody.
Everyone has a hang up. I just don't
Yeah,
know what
those are
mine
just
is.
the most
Maybe you
common.
can see. You're perceptive. Look at me and tell me what's wrong with me.
I think that you're one of the best comics, and I think it comes from being what you are. So sometimes your misfitry, whatever that is in us, is where the humor comes from. So I don't know that I would say anything to you.
You're
Gotta be
perfect.
something, guy. No,
perfect.
no,
You never had kids.
no.
Interesting. Oh, now we're
Is that
getting
it?
to it.
Kids?
Now
I always
we're getting
wanted
to
a
it.
kid, I think.
Huh.
Is this it?
Yeah,
I
this
think you
might
found
be.
it, you
Could be.
dirty paleontologist whore.
See that?
He's
Well, I
a
studied
digger.
the fossil
He's a
record.
digger.
Okay.
I dig.
So now what?
I'll be honest. If we go deep into that, it's gonna bore the hell out of your listeners because
Okay.
it'll be a 30-minute.
Oh,
to
God.
really go.
I
that
only
deep.
have 3.
His was more on the surface because we talked multiple times and he was just talking about it. So through our couple hours of conversation, it was right there.
Did
But
you have a tumultuous relationship with your mom? Or were you close?
Well, no, I'm close, but it was always my mom was very neurotic.
How?
in a way,
Like,
nervous. Could find death in anything. You could find a way for you to die in any situation whatsoever.
Oh, we can't go to the mall. We're going to
always
get killed.
afraid, always afraid,
Oh,
always
God.
telling you to be careful. And I am that way probably. I am probably so much more like my mother.
Wow.
And I've been trying to be like my father my whole life. But my default is my mother. Now, if you look at strength in only one way,
like your father.
you're fucking doing my dad again. I can see what you're doing.
You said you want to be like your father.
No.
And
His
walrus.
tusks are bigger than that.
His tusks are a lot. Damn
Sorry,
it.
I didn't
You're
mean to
twisting
interrupt.
me up right now.
Sorry, guy. You're twisted up like a dirty umbilical cord rolling down the 405
You'd
on
be
a
the
Thursday
worst
night.
therapist.
Maybe not. Throw something at me.
You'd be
Let's
the
see.
worst therapist. You
Throw
literally.
something at me. Let me
can't.
help.
I can't even open up to you.
Let me help. Throw something.
All right, fine.
What do you got?
My childhood was chaotic, and I need to come to terms with understanding that I have to be in one place and stay there.
Okay. So what you need to do is find a way to center every day.
Yeah.
You have to meditate.
Okay, so far so good.
You have to look inward and be reflective and find out.
Being a little general right now. It's making me a little mad, but keep going.
Well, you could interrupt. Maybe we should be focusing on you not being able to be polite.
He's a great therapist. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
Well, I am
Keep going.
perfect.
Exactly.
Keep going.
But, maybe a little self-reflection and stand at the edge of a lake and look down at your own reflection and cast a little stone and let the ripples and see that the ripples represent the different layers of the strata of your life and bend down and try to touch your face. And when you bend down, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th jumps up and rips your throat open and you're all done.
Fuck, dude.
More trauma.
And that was free. That was free.
You know, like, that doesn't make me feel good right now about my throat.
How about this?
What? It's fucking scary. Scariest movie of all time.
Thanks.
Go. What was yours?
The Innocents.
What was that one?
It's an old British movie about a rich guy who has to leave. He has a giant mansion out in the in the English countryside, and he has a daughter and a son, and they're very proper. They went to boarding school and everything. So this British nanny has to go and take care of them, and in the house is the devil and all this weird stuff. There's one horrifying scene where the girl's singing down by the lake, and she goes, "Who are you singing to?" And she just looks over, and her dead mother's just standing in the bulrushes, like it's imagery. I love imagery, like
So
the
her
Ring.
mother says that to her.
No, the nanny says it. "Who are you singing to, little girl?" And she just looks over, and the mother's just standing there in the bulrushes.
Oh,
like,
my God.
It's an imagery scares her. Like The Ring. Did you see the movie The Ring?
That was the one I was gonna. That was
I
my
love
scary
that.
one.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear one of the scarier stories about my son when he was little?
Oh, here we go.
This is so scary. He goes,
By the way, just before, your dad's favorite movie, I'm just guessing The Onion Ring.
nope.
Ooh, he's fat.
My son had all these stuffed animals on his bed.
Oh, here
He's
we
a
go.
little boy.
Yeah.
And he said, "Daddy, I don't want any of those. I don't want any stuffed animals on my bed anymore." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, they bite me at night." And I go, "I don't see any bite marks." And he goes, "They don't bite me on the outside. They bite me on the inside." And I went, "That's scary." So then I say that to I tell my wife at the time. And then she went in a couple of days later, and he was talking. And she comes in, she goes, "Hi." And he goes, "There's my other mommy." And he goes, "Where's the mommy you were talking to?" And he goes, "In the closet."
Come on, your boy did this?
Yes. And she comes in and goes, "You got to go check the closet right fucking now. And we're getting rid of all those stuffed animals."
Fuck, I'd put Teddy Ruxpin out on the lawn, start up the John Deere lawnmower, and turn that guy into coleslaw.
It was kind of scary, dude.
Dude, is your son possessed?
Yes, he is.
Speaking of possession,
There we go.
I've accidentally exorcised somebody before, and I actually have
What
proof
gym?
of it. No. She said, when I was younger, I used to play with the Ouija board and this, that, and the other.
God.
So that was our first session. Well, our next session, she hops on and she goes, "Dom, I'm a mess. I haven't been able to sleep for the past 2 weeks. I've been doing cocaine all night with my boyfriend. I've been drinking, and I'm seeing spirits in my room."
Whoa.
It's like, okay, let's release it, right?
By the way, I did the Ouija board. Well, you're looking for that. I did the Ouija board as a kid, and I had severe dyslexia. And by the time I got done, a whole bunch of ghosts came through the wall wearing hockey helmets. It was unbelievable.
Okay, I don't know.
Well,
why were they wearing hockey helmets if they were ghosts?
Well, because I couldn't spell, and I think they were sort of tardy.
So
You were dyslexic?
Yeah.
We'll show the camera as well.
And not for the sake of the story or the joke,
Yeah.
but for real, I was dyslexic.
You believe in God, right?
Yeah.
And the devil has to exist as well.
There you
I
go.
like that. I like
there
that.
you go.
I like that. I like
Right.
that. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'll tell you this. This is
Okay.
kind of weird when you
Tell
talk
us.
about genetic memory and shit, which I'm always skeptical about. But now I just
Okay.
remembered something. You got me remembering a lot of shit.
I know.
So, like I will say, he's fucking really good. Like when he talks about the spirit stuff, it's different. But like that's a thing he has. But when the guy has you doing it, it's like it's real.
But when you're under, are you aware of what he's bringing out of you, or is it afterwards?
No, you're not being hypnotized the way you think. It's just that you, like, you are being asked. You ask yourself questions that you never asked. That's what I think is interesting.
Okay.
But my mom. So check this out. I wake up. He's had this recurring nightmare. Night terrors. You know what it was? It's so fucking weird. This was a nightmare I had. A recurring nightmare. Me on a trapeze, and my mother was dressed like a witch chasing me on the trapeze, screaming. And I would swear, and I couldn't stop swearing like Tourette's. And the more I would swear, the more she would get angry and chase me. I'd be like, fuck you! Ah! And she'd be swinging. And I'd be like, no. She was wearing a hat and that. And I was like, keep going. I'd grab it. I go, kiss my ass. And I'd go flying, fuck, pussy. I'd scream things. And then
were the other
I
people?
would miss.
Oh, God.
And I'd go falling in the net. And as I was falling, she would just let go. And her nails, she had nails this long, and they would get into my body, and she'd just go, rah, rah, rah. And instead of tickling me, she'd be tickling me, but into the flesh. And I'd wake up like, like that, right? So I finally tell my mom. My mom's face goes white. My mom goes, tell me this again. I say, you're dressed like a witch on a trapeze. I'm swearing I can't stop, and it makes you more and more mad until you finally grab me in midair. She goes, I had the exact same nightmare, and I was so careful never to tell you that.
Wow.
I was so careful never to tell you that story because I didn't want you to have the same nightmare. Mm-hmm. That it made no sense. And my mother is not superstitious. She will always try to debunk things, and she just couldn't believe it.
Do you get the feeling maybe you just sat a little too close to the stage to Cirque du Soleil?
That might be it, because I used to be in Cirque du Soleil, which is how I sent myself through college.
No way. You launched yourself right through the window?
In 2005.
I believe it.
30.
Cirque du Soleil right through the college.
It's pronounced Cirque du Soleil. Do you know what Cirque du Soleil means?
Circus of the Sun.
Damn right, buddy. But you're French.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Cirque du Soleil.
You got to take French, right? Where in Canada are you from?
Cirque du Soleil. That's how you, the true French. Say it. How do you say it?
Cirque du Soleil.
You got to take Cirque du Soleil. It's almost like you drop a few letters.
When you got marbles in your mouth.
Well, I was dyslexic, so I
So you
hope
don't
my
read-
retarded
so can you
ghosts
not-
come to your room tonight.
Can you not read? You still have that
I
issue.
cannot read.
But so you have to listen to books.
Yeah. I read Braille books a lot.
Yeah.
And that was going really well until I was at this, I
Why your fingers
was at a
have those
pizza
calluses.
party recently, and these teenagers had all these zits, and I started touching their faces, and holy God, I think I read the first 3 chapters of Stephen King's The Shining on one of these zit.
I'm not laughing.
Is it my
This
turn?
has been a productive podcast. I feel like we're really getting to the bottom of things.
I think you're right. I really appreciated your angle on the lunar landing. You really illuminated me because I feel like I'm starting to slip a little bit. And then you came in with the all about him.
You're a bit of a conspiracy theorist, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be in the camp of spirits don't exist, God don't
Why?
exist. I just was. And when I first met my fiance, she would tell me, I used to see ghosts when I was a kid and this and that. And I'm like, shut the hell up. And then when stuff started happening to me, I was like, okay, she wasn't lying. And look, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. So it has nothing to do with any extracurricular things. It's, it's just what it is. And like you said, or I mentioned, the reason I believe in God, I didn't tell you this, is because I've had experiences like this and even other experiences where you dance with the devil a few times and then you realize, all right, if this is real, then this has to be real. You know what I mean?
Well, people don't realize there's no downside to believing in God.
There isn't, yeah.
Right? If you believe in God, then...
Well, some people would say so. Because what happens is they'll say you'll make decisions based on wishful thinking, and instead of being cold, hard, and calculated about the reality of the situation. So people are like, sometimes you have to realize that it doesn't all work out, and just because you go to church doesn't mean. But then religious people would say, don't treat God like a genie. Don't treat God like a piggy bank or a vending machine either. You're not a good person because God's going to grant you favor.
Right.
That's the sort of motto of the book of Job. You know, the book of Job is like all his friends like, how renounce God, you've been so good, and he's doing all this shit to you. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that, until Job realized that it was about being,
you're trying to say Joe.
Not the Hebrew.
There's no B on Joe.
Yeah.
It's a Charlie-ta or John-ka.
Yeah.
You don't look. I was dyslexic, guy. If you're taking a shot at me, are you taking a shot at me?
I always pronounce the H in John.
You want to do some Ouija later or anything?
No way.
Let's do it.
I'm not opening a portal to hell. I'm not opening a portal to hell, dude.
Well, I'm not saying you need all that fanfare around God. I'm saying just to believe in a God, whatever may come with it. In your mind,
a fixed truth, right? A fixed
whatever it is. It can just be the word God and what you perceive it to be. You don't have to have any religion or this or spiritual. Yeah. It can just be whatever you want it to be. That's what I'm saying. It's free. There's no downside to
right or wrong, or you're wrong in this. I agree.
Well, I get very nervous that people in power. I worry about how the people in power will behave when they truly believe nobody is watching them.
Ooh, and elaborate on that.
Well,
I like that.
If you look at the great horrors of history, yes, many have been killed in the name of God, my God versus your God. But listen, the 20th century was a time when people replaced the notion of a Christian God with a man-made God, i.e., ideologies like fascism and communism, etc. So I think the rulers like Pol Pot and like Stalin, like Hitler, what they were willing to do because they believed nobody was watching. They believed they were God. They believed they could perfect humanity. They believed that they could perfect society and create utopia, i.e. heaven on earth. You better be very careful of people like that because they believe in purity. And if you believe in purity, then what that means is you want to get rid of the impurities. And a lot of times you replace impurities with those people over there. And that justifies killing, 80 million people to make the world a better place tomorrow. Beware.
You could share the podcast with the others.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry about that. I just like to preach sometimes. Hold on.
Hitler was obsessed with the occult.
Well, you're
80 million.
What in the name of Sebastian Cabot?
I just fucking did it.
20 short.
I did it. They were 20 short, but I'm feeling generous because I'm going to give the rest to charity. What happened?
What I'd like to do now, and you can do it too, Dom. I didn't realize we were going to have two guests today, but this has been great.
Yeah,
we do this thing, and Brian knows because this is your second time here, Wild Tiger.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been wild. And my nickname in the fight circles was Wild Tiger.
Was it really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I shouldn't go about that.
Wild Tiger.
I fought on barges because it was international waters, as you know, and that we could fight to the death.
Did you ever fight Barge Simpson?
I didn't, but I study a martial art that's been illegal in pretty much every country in the world.
What's it called? Dairy Queen?
Huh?
Dairy Queen?
I don't appreciate, when I'm talking about my death touch. There's nothing queenie
I don't know
about
if throwing a peanut butter parfait at an opponent is death touch. It's sort of like a frozen dairy treat.
When was the last time you went to Dairy Queen?
Last week.
Anyway, what are you bringing up?
Well, I'd like to answer the question. I went last week, and I had a dilly bar, strawberry.
That explains your skin. Speaking of Braille.
Maybe your dad's a fat walrus.
Hey, man.
Well, you want to dish it out, Daddy will dish it back. Now, this is called Words from a Wooden Shoe.
Oh, cool.
And it's an official Dutch clog. And inside, there's words. And you reach in, and we'll do Bry first, or wild tiger first.
Okay.
You see if the word elicits a memory or a story from your life, from your past.
concept.
Yeah. Get in there, bud. What's your word?
Funny if there was just a bunch of hornets in there and I got the
Well,
shit stung out of me.
Come on, guy. I would never party on.
Just a small eyelash viper
Don't know what that means, but
type of viper.
well, maybe save it for your funny little bars.
Come on, dude.
Well, no one
A
talks.
bad pet.
Oh, here we go. Here we
A
go.
bad pet.
Talk to me, Thunderbolt.
True story.
Yeah.
I had a parrot named Jezebel. She was a scarlet macaw.
What?
She was actually a calico macaw.
Whoa.
Bought her. And one thing about macaws is no one should have them because they're as intelligent as any pet, probably as smart as dolphins and chimpanzees.
What?
And I was not prepared. She also bonded to me and hated women and pretty much anybody else who fucked with her. Yeah.
It's okay.
So she would sometimes just run at a woman who came over. And gave a couple of the women in my life real bites, bad bites.
Like with the beak?
Oh,
Is
dude.
it a huge beak?
They will they can rip your body apart. Wow. They are dinosaurs.
How big's
There's only
the beak?
certain ones?
Big like this, like a trailer hitch. And those things can bite you. I've seen hawk up close because I went hunting with hawks.
Sure.
I went and they grabbed squirrels. They can rip shit up. They can rip your whole body apart.
This parrot.
An eagle could tear into your stomach so quickly and easily you wouldn't believe it. Pull your face off. Nobody realizes what they can do. Their talons grab you and they can just go and pull.
Eagle.
It's a knife. It's a fucking knife.
But what about the parrot?
Same fucking thing. Parrots can take a table like this apart. They can break. They have a lever. They just go and they can break the most expensive furniture off. Oh, you have no idea what a macaw can do. They can fucking bite. They can ruin all your furniture.
Did it attack you?
In an afternoon.
Did it attack you?
Never. She loved me. But man, it was a liability.
What?
And then
What happened to
I got
it?
another macaw to keep her company called Monkey. Monkey was amazing. He was a blue and gold. And I loved those birds. The problem was I realized very quickly that these are birds that should be kept by a professional, not a jerk off.
Yeah.
And I had 2 dogs. My 2 dogs, Pit Bull and working line German Shepherd, used to fight. They were females. And they would get in fights sometimes that would last 20 minutes.
Oh.
And I would spend at least $4,000 at the vet. And they'd both come back looking like a baseball, like Travis Bickle in a baseball. They were all scarred up. They had to be shaved, wearing cones. Fucking nightmare.
Pit bulls, you
But
said?
my Pit Bull and my German Shepherd looked at those 2 macaws that were in my kitchen like they were gods. I would put their food down, and one day I just heard wah like that.
Wow.
And my dogs were trembling in the corner because the parrots had come down and decided they were going to eat first, and they would have their fill of my dog's foods. And I'd have a working line German Shepherd and my Pit Bull Piggy trembling in the fucking corner
freaking bird.
over these gods, because I would feed them nuts and eggs and all kinds of stuff. They're the most messy eater of all time. So all that shit would fall on the ground and my dogs would live on nuts, eggs, whatever the fuck I fed those parrots. And they'll eat everything a human will.
Wait, what's a working line German Shepherd?
What is
Glad
that?
you asked. So there's German Shepherds that the AKC bred for show, for their conformation, meaning their body type. They're slope-backed. They got their hindquarters are lower than their front quarters. It's bullshit. I'm talking about a straight back dog. I'm talking about a dog from Czech lines, German lines, where they are bred for one thing and one thing only, either police sport, Schutzhund, or patrol work. You're talking about an athlete. You're
talking about a Nazi dog.
Bro,
That's
I'm
what
talking
it
about a
sounds
dog
like.
bred for its prey drive and its fight drive.
Whoa.
A dog that can discriminate between men and women, that can avoid somebody hitting it with a baseball bat, pull back and come right in.
And yet
I'm
a
talking about
stupid parrot
badass
could
dog.
kick its ass.
That's right. That's right. My dog's Stella. I named my daughter after that dog.
Okay.
But I gave those birds away to a woman who used to come into that bird shop all the time, and she used to, she couldn't afford birds, so she would work in the shop for free, and all she wanted was birds. Those birds were expensive. I gave them both to her. And she moved to Arizona and lived there happily ever after.
What
So I have a
happened to
good
the
feeling.
birds?
I slew them. I stuffed them, and I ate them in front of a vegan. I'm kidding. I gave them to that woman. and they're still alive because they live about 100 years. Don't get a macaw. Don't get a macaw. Don't get an African gray. They're too smart.
Excellent story. Really long story, but excellent.
I mean,
What?
all right.
No, just really great and really probably one of the longest.
The Nazi dog and the sexist bird.
Yeah, I go crazy. I go crazy.
You're
Nazi
up, dog. Don't
Nazi
look.
dogs,
Don't look. Here we go.
Sexist birds.
Dom, words from a wooden shoe.
I'd like to have arms like Dom. Dom's got big fucking
you
arms.
will.
Do you move a lot of weight?
Eating.
He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Honestly, no,
Yes.
I don't lift too heavy. I lift light. My shoulders are strapped, my knee, everything.
But you're allowed to handle on a mat.
Yeah.
How do you've held your own against black belts?
Oh yeah, I've tapped plenty of black belts.
You've tapped plenty of black belts.
since I was white belt.
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah, big. Bleeding. So when I was
Here we go.
maybe 5 years old, I was at my grandmother's house. And I
Oh,
was jumping
let me
back
guess.
and
You
forth.
had your first period.
Hey, you're interrupting her story.
Sorry.
His
I
story.
learned that from you. Well,
Forgot that he identifies as a woman when he does your podcast. Keep
And,
going.
that's true.
I was jumping back and forth. There was 2 beds that my aunts used to sleep on. I'm half Mexican, so my aunts are like 5 years older than me, right? We're basically cousins.
I didn't know you were half Mexican.
Yeah, I'm Mexican and
Bro,
Italian.
I love it.
I told you my mom had me when she was 15. That should have been a clear freaking sign right there.
That's beautiful.
So I'm jumping back and forth, and I have this thing that every time I'm doing something, I'm concentrating. Like Michael Jordan, I always stick my damn tongue out. I still do it to this day. So I'm jumping back and forth, and I'm jumping across the bed, and boom, I land on my aunt's head like this.
Damn, bro.
Just take a bite out of my tongue. I'm in shock. I go to the bathroom, and my tongue is just hanging like this just barely by the skin on the bottom, and just bleeding. And I just remember crying and then waking up in an ambulance. I'd blacked out. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
pretty brutal.
You
I used
almost
to have a lot of those weird.
bit your tongue off.
They had to sew your tongue
My tongue
back.
is huge too. Look at that.
Do you have a scar across it?
You can kind of see it. It's like
And you can lick your
yeah.
own nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
working with a
wide.
regular sized dick though, huh? Poor guy.
I'm 7.
Yeah,
you know.
that's a stretch.
okay.
He measures from his asshole. You know what I'm saying, bro? Harland, you're working with what are you working with? A 4 or 5 inch nub, but you got a great personality.
Would you like to watch him lick his nose for just a full minute?
No, that's not my thing. But it's obviously something you can't take your eyes away from.
Give it a shot.
No,
Give
come
us a
on.
quick.
It's good. It's good. It's very good. Yeah,
The lady, my fiance loves it.
she loves it.
Says she's pregnant right now. So
You were when you were working out and playing hockey. You were a big kid. You got kind of a big frame. What'd you weigh?
What did I weigh?
Yeah.
I probably the most I ever got was like 240.
oh damn, that's big.
From lifting weights and just being big, or what?
I used to go to the gym playing hockey. Yeah, always
Yeah, goalie
athletic.
or-
You can put it on.
You're a defender.
No, I was a forward.
Oh, wow.
Loved
Damn.
scoring goals.
240.
Yeah.
Wow,
Loved
that's
it.
amazing.
You played a lot of hockey.
My whole life.
You're
You
pretty
still
good.
watch hockey?
I don't watch it. It takes too much time, but I played my whole life, and then I hung it up about 6 years ago. I went on the racquetball court for the very first time, and I've never played hockey since. I play racquetball like 3-4 times a week.
Racquetballs. If you live near me, I would play with you.
Really?
I play a lot of tennis, and I love
you should
racquetball.
come and do it, buddy.
Too far away, but I
Well,
love it.
That's what friends
Me
do.
halfway.
Yeah, I can take my chopper. You know, I make a lot of money now.
You
What am I-
do?
Yeah, a lot of money. I'm in the oil business.
Sounds greasy. Well, I'm going to hit the theme music because we didn't hit it yet.
Oh.
I want to welcome you guys. Welcome to the Harland Highway Podcast. And we don't have time to do a whole show, but we did have a nice little chat to sort of set it all up. Bryan, God, I just swallowed a scallop. Bryan Callen, buddy, tell them your social media.
When is this air?
Doesn't matter. That's not your business.
You come see me. You look, BRYANCALLEN.com. I'm going to be in Springfield, Missouri.
The Blue Dot.
The 21st and the 22nd
The Blue
of July.
Dot.
Yep.
Yeah,
Have you
great.
done it?
I was just there.
Yeah,
Great,
good
great,
room. 21st,
great.
22nd. And then I'll be in Ontario at the Ontario Improv the 29th, 28th, and 29th.
Beautiful.
And then I'm going to be in Cap Cities in Austin. Cap Cities, Austin.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I'll be there August 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and this is all natural.
What is it? Those little bumps?
Come on, bro. Be cool. I'm not 240. I told you I was ashamed of my frailty.
Yeah, that's true.
But I figured out that it's all about not losing connection with my mom.
I love that. That's a good way to
It's kind
end.
of been a big
Interesting,
day
right?
for me.
And how can they reach you, Dom?
Yeah.
Tell us about where they can learn
Just
more
Dom
about
the
you.
Hypnotist on everything. So you go to Instagram, dom.the.hypnotist, YouTube, all the
Good luck
platforms.
getting an appointment. Good luck getting in.
Really?
Yeah, Brian's actually speaking at my event August 19th.
That's right. August 19th, I'm doing stand-up at his event.
What?
And I'm doing a Q&A. So he and I are doing that. So get your tickets.
Oh, wow.
Where do they get tickets?
They just go to my Instagram. They can go to applydomthehypnotist.com/event. They can also message me on
Only
Instagram.
come if you like laughing for an hour straight. I'm doing all of Harland Williams' material.
Yeah, you should get into the audience's head and make them think he's the funniest guy that
do that
ever
right
He
now.
walked.
doesn't need to
You
do
already
that.
are. You already are.
Fuck.
Of course. Sorry.
All right, I got to get back to the sea. I mean, to my dad.
Your dad. Yeah. Guys, thank you for being here. What an honor. What
Thanks
a
for having us
pleasure.
on.
What a
It was
treat.
fun.
Bry.
Love you.
What?
Nothing.
Got weird at the end. Let's hit the theme music again. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, chicken chow mein. This is the Harland Highway Podcast.